Good evening and welcome to our local candidate forums. This evening is brought to you by the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce and the Appeal Democrat. My name is Marnie Sanders and I am the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to extend a special thanks to the City of Yuba City for the use of the facility this evening. I would also like to say thank you to our sponsors this evening. Our forums have been made possible by Sierra Central Credit Union and Yuba-Sutter.LIVE. We would also like to recognize some of our chamber champion circle investors: Adventist Health and Right Out, Adept Solutions, Calusa Casino Resort, Sutter Health, Hard Rock Hotel Casino Sacramento at Fire Mountain, and Recology. I want to thank the candidates for being here this evening, and thank you to our audience out there watching us live stream. I'm going to now turn the program over to Joe McClure this evening. Joe McClure is the Executive Vice President and Chief Banking Officer with Golden Pacific Bank, and he is a member of our committee for the candidate forums, and he's also the chair of our Government Affairs Committee and a board member. Joe?
Great, thank you, Marnie. Tonight we'll be hearing from candidates running for 2 Sutter County Supervisor seats. Running in District 4, we have Karm, Bains, and Mann. And running in District 5, we have incumbent Matt Conant and Sarb, Thiara. At 7:30 this evening, we'll be hearing from candidates running for 2 open seats on the Yuba City City Council. And both forums will have basically the same format. We'll begin our question and answer with the candidates running for the Sutter County Supervisor seats. And the appeal will also feature questions and answers in their printed publication and online over the coming days. Now here's how tonight's forum will work. Each candidate will receive 90 seconds for an opening statement, and then we'll have a series of questions provided by our committee, audience members, and readers of the Appeal Democrat. If you'd like your question to be considered, please submit your questions in the comments area of the platform you're watching this forum on. But please keep your questions brief, and questions must address all candidates. Otherwise, they will not be allowed, as questions cannot be directed to only one candidate. Please be aware that we already have dozens of questions for our candidates. So if we don't get to yours, we apologize, as we have time for only a certain number of questions this evening. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question. Rebuttals will be allowed only if there is a reference to a particular opposing candidate in another candidate's answer, and those rebuttals will be allowed for up to 30 seconds. At the end of the questions, each candidate will have up to 2 minutes for a closing statement, and there'll be no rebuttals allowed during those closing statements. Candidates, please direct your attention to our timekeeper, Jackie Lee, here in the middle of the room. She'll have 3 signs. One says 30 seconds. One says 15 seconds, and the third one says time's up. Please be respectful of everyone's time and stay within your time limits. Again, we'd like to thank those who've joined us on the live stream and are watching these forums from other platforms. We appreciate your interest in learning more about tonight's candidates. I'd like to extend a special thanks to my fellow candidate forum committee members who worked tirelessly to put these forums together: Bob Harlan, Steve Miller, Jackie Selman, Jackie Lee, and our own Marnie Sanders. Our moderators tonight are Steve Miller, editor for the Appeal Democrat, and Bob Harlan, executive director of the Yuba-Sutter.LIVE United Way, both of which have donated many hours to determine the issues pertinent to Yuba County and bring you tonight's forum. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to our moderators, Steve Miller and Bob Harlan.
Thank you very much, Joe. And we're going to be starting, of course, as Joe mentioned, with the Sutter County Supervisors races. And so far, Steve, we have 51 questions that have come in. So questions are rolling in quite quickly tonight. We're going to start out with opening statements. And the first opening statement is 90 seconds or less for Mann, who is running in the 4th District.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you to the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce and to the Appeal Democrat for providing this opportunity. It's nice to get our message out. There's not a lot of opportunities due to COVID to get our word out, so thank you again. My name is Mann. I grew up in this area. I went to Yuba City High School back in the 70s, went away to UC Davis for 4 years. I worked here in Yuba County, Sutter County for 32 years, recently retired. While working, I've been involved in the community in many different community organizations, nonprofits, and so forth, whether it's the Chamber or American Red Cross or Kiwanis, the Yuba-Sutter Fair. This community has given me everything I have. I started with nothing. I came here at high school age, not speaking a word of English. The schools were wonderful. Got the education where I was able to go to UC Davis 4 years removed from my village in India. And this community has given me so much. I always wanted to give back. I don't need another title or another board to be on. I want to serve my community. I want to give back to the community that's given me so much. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Tej. And now we're going to go to Sarb Thiara, who is running in the 5th District. You have 90 seconds.
Thank you, Bob. I want to thank the Chamber, thank the Appeal Democrat for putting this forum together. Due to the situation, the COVID, and it's very hard to get our message out, and this is a good forum, and there's a lot of people out there listening. I do want to thank all the audience out there. So I got here in 1972. I was 9 years old, and I started with nothing here. Didn't know any English, and it's $4 in the pocket. We all landed here. I had a mom and dad, and two of my brother and sister. So we got here, and we actually landed in Live Oak. That's where we started out. And my grandfather and a grandfather, they've been here since 1927. So the family is pretty deep. I've been here in Sutter County 48 years. So from 40, I've seen up and down in these 40, but I have not seen the situation that we are now. Due to the negatives and positives that we got, I'm running in this race because I want to see Sutter County great again. Want to make this message heard to people, because I have 3 kids that grew up here. I want them to have a better place so that way they can have a better life just like we did. So I really want to thank everyone that is listening. Please listen to everything that we have to say today, and please vote for sure. Don't miss the vote. That counts. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sarb. And now we'll go on to Karm Bains, running in the 4th District. And I might mention that the incumbent, Jim Whitaker, did not run for re-election. So both of these gentlemen, Tej and Karm, are not incumbents. So Karm, 90 seconds.
Thank you to the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce and the Appeal Democrat for hosting this forum this evening. Hi, my name is Karm Bains, and I'm running for Sutter County Supervisor to serve the district where I grew up. I was born and raised here, raising my family here, and I run a business here. I currently serve as a trustee for the Sutter County Board of Education, and I'm a board member for the 13th District Agricultural Association. I'm a 4th-generation Sutter County farmer, so I know the issues that impact agriculture. I'm a graduate of the California Ag Leadership Program, and I'm proud to have the endorsement of the Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau. For me, fighting crime and keeping our residents safe is government's #1 responsibility. With COVID-19 related zero bail and early prison releases, our crime rate is set to soar. We need to be looking at the budget now to determine how we can allocate greater funds to fund our local law enforcement and first responders. Homelessness has reached an epidemic level. I'm ready to use a more assertive approach to reduce the impact homelessness is having on our businesses, families, levee system, and waterways. The pandemic has devastated our local economy, and it's time that we reopen. We get our businesses back thriving, and as a community, I think we could do this by coming together. As a founding member of the Yuba City Economic Development Commission, I have the experience to lead this effort and ensure its success. There is so much division in this country. I will approach my role as supervisor as a great uniter, bringing our community together and putting Sutter County residents first. I will always be accessible to you and will listen with an open mind. I am you. I'm one of you. We need more servants in office and fewer politicians. That's why I hope you will support my campaign for Sutter County Supervisor.
Thank you very much, Karm. And we'll now wrap up the opening statements with the incumbent in the 5th District, Matt Conant. Matt, 90 seconds.
Thank you, Chamber and Appeal Democrat, for sponsoring this event tonight, and I'm proud to be a Chamber member as well. Our family has farmed in South Sutter County next year for 100 years. I'm a graduate of East Nicholas High School, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and Yuba College with an AS from Yuba and a BS from Cal Poly, and a graduate of the California Ag Leadership Program. My parents kind of instilled on us children that we should always give back to our community. Both my parents were veterans of World War II and the Korean War and gave a tremendous back to our community. So when I came back from college, I immediately joined the East Nicholas Fire Department. I'm a 20-year member of the fire department. Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau Board for 30 years, the California Farm Bureau Board for 6 years, and also on their finance committee. I was on the Brown School Elementary Board for 8 years, the East Nicholas High School Board for 8 years, the South Sutter Water District Board for 13 years, and I also served on the South Sutter Little League as a coach and president as well. I also presently serving on the California Walnut Board and the Walnut Commission, as well as 2 water coalitions. I've always given back to my community, and my word is my bond, and that's the way I've always operated our business as well. And I'm supported by the Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau, the Republican Central Committee, and numerous other individuals as well. Thank you.
And thank you very much, gentlemen. We appreciate your opening statements. Now we're going to go into a series of questions that have been sent in to us over the last few days, and some of them coming in tonight, as well as the committee putting together a few of the questions as well. And we're going to be rotating the questions between each of you, with the first person to answer rotating. So nobody will be first all the time or last all the time. Let's start out the first question for Mann. Steve, you have that question.
Have Yuba City and Sutter County done all that they can to assist businesses that are hurting badly because of COVID-19? What more could be done?
A lot more could be done. I don't think enough has been done. We're a rural area. We don't need to have the same restrictions that we have in Bay Area or say even Sacramento. We are fairly isolated. I think we need to start looking at opening up our businesses with, obviously you have to keep safety in mind and the population, general population in mind. We need to take all the precautions we can, but we need to start opening up businesses. People are losing businesses that they have put generations, 2-3 generations, their life savings into, and they're losing forever. While we have Walmarts and Home Depots open, mom and pop stores are closed. I just don't think that's right. So what we need to do is open up the county with the safety measures. Thank you.
Thanks. Sarb?
Can you repeat that question, please?
You bet. Have Yuba City and Sutter County done all they can to assist businesses that are hurting badly because of the COVID-19 pandemic? What more could be done?
Yeah, they have not, but like you heard from Tej also, it needs to be opened up. It needs to be opened up now. We have gone through this for a long time. A lot of the families you see in this town that has businesses started 100 years back, and they're small businesses, they are hurting really badly, and due to a lot of our farming communities are hurting because the prices and everything has dropped on their their commodities, and it has a lot of effect on those businesses also. And so we just need to get a plan together where we can talk to Dr. Liu, and our supervisors can take those restrictions down and do what we need to do. It's right. Instead of talking about it, right now it's time till we need to get joined together, everyone, and open the businesses back up so we can have people's health, and a lot of the kids and are not in school, they really need to be opened back up too. So thank you very much.
Karm?
I'd like to give kudos to our Chamber of Commerce on excellent work that was done by offering resources and training to help our local businesses, right, and advocating for them, and thank you for leading. But I think there's a number of things that could have been done. We did a great job in educating the community in that, but we really need to encourage our residents to support our local businesses. Right now, I mean, we do have the current leaders that have reached out to federal funding with the CARES Act to distribute some funds to those organizations and businesses or small business to support them. But I would really take this opportunity to encourage everybody to eat local, shop local, buy local, that buy here, thrive here. We could do it. I mean, we could recharge our community, and we could, get it going again. So I just want to say, please support your local businesses.
Thanks. Matt?
Yes, I think that the county has done a lot of different things to help the small businesses. We've set up grants for small businesses to operate on while the times are tough. We've set up no interest loans. We've had a grant also for tents for outside dining for restaurants. And I'm not saying that's all we can do, but we've done quite a bit and we use the CARE funding for that. And can we do more? And we may have to do more down the road, and we probably do need to do more. But I think what Karm said is great. We need to shop local, buy local, drive local, try to do as much as we can for our local businesses to keep them open. And we've got to open this county up sooner rather than later. Thank you.
And we'll start our next question with Sarb Thiara. Sarb, here are words that make local government officials cringe very often. Public Employee Retirement System. Give us your assessment of where we stand for Sutter County.
Can you repeat that question one more time? I just want to make sure that.
Here are some words that make local government officials cringe. Public Employee Retirement System. Give us your assessment of where we stand.
Well, much information I got, we're pretty badly upside down in our pension funds. And that's driving the morale of this county with the workers pretty much down. And I had said before, we have to put real money into this system to get them to feel that they're going to have some pensions at the end. Right now with the CalPERS, it's not working, and I think they need to move away from there and get their money out. And if they're making less money out of it, put it into something else. They need to revisit that thing. And like I said, we need to bring more infrastructure into this so we can generate more income and build our economy back up. Thank you.
Karm?
So unfortunately, our current leaders have accepted this, and now it's become our problem as a community, right? I mean, the negotiation, we weren't there. One thing that I could tell you is it will not go up from where it's at. Last time I checked into it, it was $270 million, and the rate of that they were paying it down, it doesn't take rocket science. By putting aside $1 million a year, we'll never catch up. And I know that everybody's not asking for their money tomorrow, but we need to have some other resourceful ideas, and that's where I'd like to bring my business background and to float ideas, whether it's floating a bond, bringing in grant writers, bringing in other type of resources to pay this down. I mean, one example is, we could have spent the $3 million that was wasted on the Kmart building to pay this thing down $3 million. There's so many options that are out there, but the current plan does not set well with our budget, and I think it needs to be reassessed and looked at it from a business standpoint, and I'm willing to take on that challenge.
Matt?
Yes, mine. Correct? Okay. So first of all, the county has done a lot to reduce the CalPERS liability. We prepay each year our liability in advance so that we get that money working for us sooner. We have put in $1 million a year into the 115 plan, which reduces the liability as well. It's a separate pot of money that the county invests, and it's totally out of CalPERS. The other thing is you can't get out of CalPERS. It's not legal. It would be illegal for this county to pull out of CalPERS. And everybody says it's going to take forever. Well, the newest data I show says that with the 115 plan, it will be paid back in 2038. And without it, which we are doing the $1 million a year, it'll be 2042. And that's CalPERS's numbers. That's not the counties. That's their pension estimates. And thank you for your time.
And Tej.
Thank you. We are in a big hole, but we are also committed. When we hire the employees, we promise them what we're going to pay for their retirement. What messed us up in the elected officials in 2004 thought Sutter County was very wealthy and decided to give very generous retirement packages. They decreased the age, they increased the formulas from 2% to 2.7, and they retro paid people that were already retiring. So that put us in a deep hole. But the county, Yuba City, they've done a great job. It's a ship in the ocean, a huge ship. It's turning around. They increase the retirement age. They decrease the percentage that you get. So it's on its way. It will get done. We are committed by law. The only way to get out of this if the jurisdiction files for bankruptcy, and I don't think we want to go there. I think we want to just keep working on it, decrease the benefits with new employees, and we'll get there. We got in a big mess, but we'll fix it.
Thank you. Steve?
Thanks. Here's a good question that a reader sent in, and we'll be starting with Karm. The reader says, "It seems we hear as much complaining when a development or construction project is approved as we do from builders who want to get plans approved. Is there too much red tape or about the right amount? How do you make it as easy as possible for developers without overlooking the wishes of residents?"
So I believe there is too much red tape, but at the same time, I mean, this is your county responsibility. We have a general plan in place, and you have to go through that process. I think it's time to update our general plan, and when you're doing that, you bring the community together. You bring the community together and see what their wants and needs are, and it shouldn't be the decision of the 5 people that are sitting up at the dais. It should be, everybody should be able to chime in and make sure that their voices are heard. And as a supervisor, I'd like to, make sure that my constituents' voices are always heard. And so that's what I would propose. I would propose a general plan update and to designate whatever areas we were looking to develop. But most importantly, we need the infrastructure. We don't have the infrastructure to actually develop in our county, right? And so we need to bring in sewer and water, and but be more thoughtful to what our needs are. And but I think it's a collective effort by the community, and we'd like to hear what everybody's thoughts are. Thank you.
Yes. So yes, the general plan is followed. I don't think there's too much red tape unless you go to get a building permit. Sometimes you wish there was less, but the general plan has to be followed, and sometimes that red tape has to occur in order to make it follow and to make sure the due diligence is done correctly for proper development. What Sutter County does have going for it, we really can't develop here because most of our county's in the floodplain. However, if you go to where Sutter Point's project is being planned, and there could be dirt moved in a matter of as little as 2 years, it's 3,500 acres of commercial and 3,500 acres of residential development. The commercial development could make the county a tremendous amount of money in the future when that development occurs, and I really think that's going to happen. I think that it needs to happen, and it will help the county's bottom line with commercial development. Homes don't make much money for the county, but commercial development with all those jobs and all that experience, it will make the county a lot of money. Thank you.
Thank you. There's often conflict with development. It's the way to avoid conflict is to have more planning. You do update your general plan, you have your specific plans, and that's when really the community needs to get involved to see what's happening in their neighborhood. Often people don't get involved in the last minute when they see bulldozers. They're concerned what's happening in their neighborhood. So we do have red tape. It's not too much red tape, but it's a red tape that I think we need to make sure what our requirements are so people aren't getting confusing answers, so they know what is expected of them to do their project. So I think it's more of that. We need to have staff, well-trained staff that understands what the requirements are for the specific project that the citizens asking, and So that's where the reduction of the red tape comes. But then we really need to get involved as a community, and it's a balance. Thank you.
Yes, there is too much red tape, and people don't want to admit to it until they go to the county and find out. The cost involved with that red tape is too high. That's why we have so many things that are coming in here not getting built, because we are trying to stick everything, anything. Our costs are higher than Roseville. That's why people are moving over there, and any kind of development that was we have developers out there that would come, pick up the tab, do it right, but they have to get away from this red tape. Anything in this county that you want to do, it takes so long to get done. By the time, it could be even a commercial land you want to develop on there, it will take you 2 years to get anything done as a permit. And people don't want to admit to it, but the truth is truth, and it hurts, and I'm going to speak the truth, because I go through that county, and I know, and there's other people who admit to that. We have to take the red tape out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's start with our next question, and Matt will be the first one to answer this one. What plans or strategy would you use to include more people of color to get more deeply involved with local government and directive boards?
Good question. Well, we have 3 Sikh people in this room right before us today running for supervisor. I think that's a great thing for this community. I think this community is very inclusive, and I think that of all colors. But I think that just goes to show that people are people, and we all are supportive of people. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but it's true. This community is a great community to live in, and we have a lot of great ethnic backgrounds, both Hispanic and we have a great Sikh population, and do a lot of great good with their religion as well. And I think that all those groups do a great job for our community, and we need more people in government that are of color, and I think we're getting there, but that's kind of what I see anyway. Thank you.
Tej?
I think it happens with time, and it's happening slowly. In 1986, I started working for Yuba County here. I was one of the very few staffs of my background that worked for the county. And now sometimes people see people of their own ethnic background, and then you kind of serve as a role model, trailblazer, and people look at you doing that job. And since then, there are many people in working for the county that are of Punjabi Sikh background. I was the first to run for city council in 2002. After 9/11, I got involved. Hey, this is my city, this is my country. I need to get involved in the political arena. Again, I was one of the first trailblazer. I got elected in 2006, and now there's, like Matt said, 3 out of 4 board supervisor candidates are Sikhs. I think it just takes time, and people need to get involved, and people do get involved as they see people involved.
Sarb?
Bob, I think the race, color, it doesn't matter. It's got to be the qualification, and I think we all should look at that. It should not look at the race. Should look at the person, what his qualities are. To any race or any kind of like Tej said, he could be in any kind of business. And I think Sutter County is a very good county to live in, or Yuba County. I grew up here, and I went to Yuba City High School. And when I came to just give you a small example, in Live Oak, it was an instant school, and people didn't even know what Sikh was. They were calling us Hindus, right? And so much has changed, and that's the truth. And that's why I respect everybody, all my friends that did not like me at that time or had issues. They're all my friends now. That's how much change has happened. So we are changing, and everybody loves each other, and that's what we need to do. We need to love each other more so we can have a family and get through this bad crisis we're going on. Thank you.
And Karm?
So I think you need to go to them invite them. I mean, you asked a specific question, and if somebody feels that they're not included, go to their turf. I don't know who you're looking at or who you're trying to target, but I think it goes back to reaching out to the people. We are one community. I was born and raised here. I mean, I feel I've been serving. I've been giving back. I started with the Planning Commission for the city of Yuba City. I was a charter member of the Economic Development Commission for the city. I've served on our hospital board for our foundation board for Fremont Right Out for over 10 years. I've served on the Yuba-Sutter Fair Board. I'm currently serving an elected position on the Sutter County Board of Education, and I want to be your next supervisor. And I'm a man of color, but again, I think you go with it's based on one's merit, what somebody could do, their integrity, their my heart's in the right place. I want to serve. I want to serve the people, right? And when I'm serving the entire community, not just one ethnicity or one person. We are all one, and I'm tired of people dividing us and putting us in boxes. We need to just look in unity for our community. Thank you.
We'll start with Tej on this question. How and where will our supervisors obtain the funds to cover the promises to repair roads, increase funds for fire, police, and safety employees, with that debt owed to CalPERS amounting to $170 million plus?
Great question. I think we already addressed the PERS that's worked on. That's it's on its way to getting fixed. It's just going to take time to get that fixed. It's already been adjusted. The age has been increased. The percentage has been lowered. But that's not the only bill we have. Our sheriff deputies need to be paid better. Our fire needs to be paid better. We need more staff. Our staff in all departments is being pushed to the limit. They're doing every day, doing more with less. And we have gone through one disaster or another, and this disaster that's hurting our businesses is going to take a while to recover. What we need to do is grow our businesses and recruit businesses, well-paying jobs. Being a bedroom community is not going to pay our bills. We need to get out of the way and make it easier for businesses to succeed. We need to recruit businesses from Bay Area. Sacramento, El Dorado, Folsom, Elk Grove, Roseville, they're bringing in Bay Area businesses that are relocating due to the cost. I think we should be part of that. And I think our chamber, EDC, they're involved, but we need to just keep doing more.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sarb?
Can you please repeat that question again?
How and where will our supervisors obtain the funds to cover the promises to repair roads, increase funds for fire, police, and safety employees, with the debt owed to CalPERS?
First of all, I think a lot of the contracts we've seen, they need to be better negotiated. It needs to be looked with a business mind, and which is now being looked at right now. And you can do way, way better negotiating with the people that are putting these projects out there. You can get more things done with the money that we have, which needs to be looked at very hard. And second of all, we really look at the thousands of employees that we have for this county. Do we have enough infrastructure to cover that? If we don't, we need to make some hard decisions. So either we need to bring in more infrastructure in here and get easy with all the permitting and everything, so we lower the cost on this, so we can bring more business into Sutter County and have them fill our gap for the CalPERS, the money that we need to cover all our costs. That is the biggest problem that we have. We are just not looking at it. We need to look at it with the straight. Everybody just shrugs their shoulders and walks away from it. Oh, it's not my problem. Somebody else will take care of it. Just like it's coming down the pipeline right now, where we said, thank you very much.
Thanks. Karm?
Since I've got the mic here, I'm going to go back to answer this through that question you asked about the red tape. There's a specific plan in Yuba City with the harder specific plan that's been that because of the red tape, they're not allowing an economic driver to come into our community. We need to bring an economic driver to be able to generate taxes, to pay this off, right, through sales tax and that type of revenue, or think outside the box. I would push to hire a grant writer. I mean, we could secure millions of dollars from grant funding. There's funds at the state and federal level that they're your funds, your taxpayers. There's your money that's sitting that's sitting there. Right? There's no reason why you can't apply for those grants and bring them in to pay for law enforcement and fire and other necessities. Just an example that I'll give you is we did this with the Sutter County Board of Education. because we brought in the grant writers and wrote those grants, we're now in a $1.9 million budget surplus, where in the past we were in the red. And we project for the next 3 years to be at $1.4 million budget surplus as well. Simple, just bring in a grant writer.
Okay, so first of all, the SB1 money has helped on the road repairs. Not that we've accomplished all of it yet. It's going to take a long time to get back there. We didn't get in this problem with poor roads in a matter of a few years either. It's been accumulating for years and years. And we have made remarkable progress in many areas of the districts to repair roads. But like I said, we still have a long ways to go. The fire departments, Live Oak, Oswald Tudor, and Sutter, have not raised their they're all special districts, and none of them have raised their fees since 1994. And those special districts have to be raised. You can't run a department what you did in 1994. You don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the equipment, you don't have the pay to pay people. So the sheriff's department, we raised them by 3%, but we still need to deal with, we're last year, and we're going to do another 3 and another 3, and the probation is a little underpaid and understaffed, the DA as well, and don't forget the court bailiffs. Thank you.
Our next question will start with Sarb. Let's talk about efficiency in government. Give us your opinions on whether we are overstaffed in certain areas of county government or where we are understaffed. What changes will you be pushing for if elected in November?
Thank you, Bob. I would have to get more details of some of the staffing where they are and look into where they're sitting and where the numbers could be changed from. But there is cuts. There's, like I was told earlier, because the infrastructure is not there, there's cuts could be made everywhere. And we could put the right people in there. And we can, the other thing we can do is we can join certain agencies. We are not even looking at it. Right now, if you, just an example, if we have one farm that is 1 mile away and we have 2 foremen to try to run it, you can't do it. Right now, we are trying to run, the city could be shared some expenses, and county could be, they could do joint things together. We are trying to do things with Marysville right now. There's things that we can share, and we can cut our costs down where we can move along and get our costs down. Thank you.
Karm.
So I think there's always room, right? I mean, we're here, as a perfect example that we're at the city council or city hall sharing for the county, Sutter County. And I mean, I like the fact that they're able to do that. But we should look into other positions and see if they could be beneficial to both city and county. Because at the end of the day, the city is within the county, and more importantly, that we're not a Placerville or a Rockland Roseville, for example. We don't have people lined up outside the door for building permits, or we don't have these developers, sitting outside waiting to come into our community. And so why do we need assistance in every level? I mean, there's I mean, I think there are room, there's room out there. But again, would like to give them the opportunity to take a better look and assessment at it and see if there are cuts that could be made. If not, we support those that are there currently.
Matt?
Yeah, so I'd like to start with the sheriff's department. I think I know we're understaffed because we have open vacant positions. Same with the probation department. They're, I think, short 5 right now. And part of that is because it's hard to recruit with our salary schedule where it is. We need to raise that up to where we're competitive with surrounding agencies and surrounding jurisdictions. And I think we're getting there, but I think we got a long ways to go. And we didn't, like I said, like the roads, we didn't get here overnight. We've been going this way for a long time, and we're trying to move it up. And I think we need more deputies on patrol, especially in the South County where I reside. We have way more traffic coming from and to from the amphitheater and the casino. Also, as far as health and human services, that department tends to grow about 2% a year, and that's funded mostly by the state and federal government. But a lot of the departments are running at bare minimum staffing, and I think we need to really pay close attention to that and not get too low on our staffing levels. Thank you.
Tej?
Yes, I think we're pretty efficient what we're doing at what I've seen here in Yuba City at the city government and county government. You know, we had a lot of cuts in 2008 recession. We were cut to bare bones, and we really haven't had the funding to restaff. Our staff works hard. Like I said earlier, they're doing more with less. That was a saying we had when I was on the council. We're trying to do more and more with less and less resources. We are a bedroom community. We need to bring businesses. We done grant. We got a lot of grants. We built the bridge over the 5th Street Bridge. I was on the council. We got the grants to build that bridge. We're getting as much as we can, but grants is not. It can't fund everything with grants. We have great people working for our different departments doing all they can. They know what they're doing. We are a poor ag community, a bedroom community. We need to bring more businesses that pay better, and that generates more revenues.
Thanks. This question will start with Karm. What is your stance on growing and/or selling recreational marijuana in the county? What's your stance on allowing the growing of industrial hemp in the county?
So I'm absolutely against the growing of cannabis or marijuana in the community. I'm raising 4 of my own children in Sutter County in this here in Sutter County, but I'm totally against it. It's the federal law is the supreme law of the land, and it is illegal. Okay. I understand that the medical benefits that folks talk about, but you don't even need to go anywhere. You could get that delivered to you from elsewhere, or you could go across the river and pick some up from Marysville if there's a need. The hemp that we're talking about is because our president is titled it as an actual commodity that's why Sutter County has created the ordinance that they have, and they're allowing that. But again, the current ordinances, I stand by, but I think our law enforcement needs help. We need to support them to make sure that this does not create havoc in our community. Thank you.
Okay, so I am opposed totally to growing or selling marijuana in this county or city. I don't want it at all. I think it leads to crime. I think it's a gateway drug, in my opinion. It leads to other people using it. And also, I think there's strong evidence that minor children have tremendous psychological problems in the future from the use of marijuana, and I can't go for that. I think people just can't be on that kind of stuff when they're growing up. And I don't know how you're going to protect the children from that. The other thing is let's talk about hemp. I think hemp is a commodity that could be raised and have a great benefit for our local farmers. However, I do want to see some better restrictions and better regulations. We tried to get there. We couldn't quite get there last time, but I think we're going to get there this year to make sure that hemp is not grown next to schools, to make sure that it's kept away from churches and housing developments. And I want at least 1,000-foot buffer from, I'd really like a 1,000-foot buffer from roads too, because I think it leads to a lot of crime, people going out and stealing hemp. We've had that problem in the Sutter County Sheriff's have to respond. Thank you.
I'm against growing marijuana and hemp and the dispensaries. We were talking about not having enough funds to fund our law enforcement, and this doesn't help. There's a lot of crime when they're growing and selling. It leads to a lot of crime, people stealing, and we don't have the funds, and it's not good. Good business, if they need it, there's a ways that they can get it. There's a dispensary in Marysville, they can get it from there. I believe my opponent is growing hemp. I don't like seeing golf courses turned into hemp farms. I think we do need a little bit better regulation on hemp growth. So I would say if the county people want it, then they grow it in an ag area away from everything. But I'm against both marijuana and hemp growth. Thank you.
So I was
So anyway, I'm against it 100%. I have family, my two boys and a daughter in this community, And anywhere I see any kids that even look at it and try to convince them of not doing this stuff, it's not good. Slowly, it's going to turn into a drug addiction that we can't get away from. So I'm against it 100%. And you know, I just, you know, talking to Sheriff Barnes, how many calls I get, and a lot of our force is being turned that way, going to people's home, and getting into those problems. That's where all the big crimes happen, you know. And there's pretty bad situation. I don't want to talk about some stories that we know already that has happened with one of our law enforcement's son-in-law. That those kind of deals happen, and so I just I'm against it, and I think we should leave it at that. We should use our force for some other things, not for this. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Karm, we'll give you 30-second time for a rebuttal.
Yes, so this isn't the first time that person in here that's running against me has made false claims or accusations, but desperate people take desperate routes in that. So I do not grow hemp. There's no hemp that's ever been grown on any property that I own, nor would I ever grow hemp. But again, it goes back to our kids. Our children, they're our future. You know, these things are bad for our community. When it comes to cannabis, I'm totally against it, and there's no need for that in our community. Thank you.
Thanks.
Can I just say something about the hemp thing? Not really, or?
Not really.
Okay.
You could use some time on your next allotted time.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. We'll start with Matt. Please give us 3 key ingredients which would make for a superior supervisor, and how do you stack up to those 3?
Oh, okay, so not much time to play in this one. Okay, so first of all, I think that my background in education and my background in all the boards and commissions I've served on leads me well to that. And that was what led me to run for supervisor. I was concerned about, when I was on the school board and the water district board and the farm bill board, I saw a lot of things that kind of concerned me about what was going on in the county, and that led to my education of what was happening, both unfunded pension liability and that kind of thing. Another thing is a person needs to have an open mind about what their goals and objectives are for the county, and what they want to have a plan to improve it. And then lastly, I think that a good supervisor should be one who's reachable by the community and whose word is his bond and his handshake is his contract. And I've always operated that way, and that's why I think I make a good supervisor.
Tej?
That's a great question. I'm glad you guys asked that, because I definitely think it takes 3 ingredients to make a great supervisor. 1, experience. You need to know what you're doing. You don't have time to learn. It's not a school. It's not a learn on the job. It's a very responsible position. Having served on city council, having involved in government and other management positions, I know what it takes. So I have the experience. Number 2, it takes time. You have to learn all the issues. It's a full-time job. And I recently retired, and that's why I'm running. I would not run if I couldn't commit full-time to it. It's a full-time job. Number 3, you got to be committed to your community. You got to care about your community. You need the ability to listen. And I listen, I care, and I want to provide ethical leadership, honest leadership to this community. So I have time, experience, and the commitment, and those are the 3 essential ingredients.
Sarb?
Thanks, Bob. I've been on the Peach Association board for numbers of years. I've been a vice president also of that. And then also at the temple, you know, we, large gatherings, large crowds. I have worked with the CHP, Yuba City Police, and our Sarb County Sheriff's Department ran these big parades. And I know how to deal with people. And we ran one of the safest parades when I was there. And then it comes down to experience. You know, the one experience I don't have, I'm not a politician, and I don't want to be. I'm a business person, and I can bring the business mind of mine to the table. If there's anybody that needs to challenge that, I'm on for that. I can do a better job sitting on a supervisor seat and negotiating a deal that needs to be done and running like a business. And that's where my strong points is. And I'm not gonna mealy-mouth about anything. I'm gonna tell it the way it is. And a lot of people like that, and that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you.
Karm.
I think it takes honesty, integrity, and an open mind. An open mind to go into each meeting without a bias, be willing to educate yourself, and both the pros and cons, or the benefits and disadvantages, which each decision you make on this board, what the outcome of those decisions would actually be. But having served in a number of different capacities, I've showed that. I've showed that as an experienced leader in our community, and I think we need true leadership, not career politicians, not people that are just looking for another seat, another board, another allocated, feather in their cap or something like that. We need somebody that wants to serve the people, somebody that wants to make sure that our community, our constituents, so that their voices are heard. And that's exactly what I want to do. I want to be a servant leader to our community. I'm not a politician, and I'm not looking to be one. I'm looking to serve each and every one of you. Thank you.
We have time for one more question, and then we'll get to our 2-minute closing statements. Steve, you have the next question.
I'll start with Tej. Yuba City failed in the last elections to gain voter approval of annexation of the keyhole area of South Yuba City. Should another run be made at it? What should be done differently, or should it be left to rest?
I think another attempt needs to be made. The way we're trying to, the city's trying to annex land south of Bogue Road, and there's reasons we already discussed why. We can't have islands just doing, LAFCO doesn't allow that. And I think we need to be able to efficiently, we talked about efficiency early, to be able to efficiently provide services, we need to be a one community. But the balance is that we need to allow the citizens, it's their decision if they want to be or not. I think we need to do a better job educating them and allow them another chance. I personally think it would be better for everybody to be in the city, in that keyhole area, and annex the area further south. So again, all we do, we represent people. People need to make that decision. I think we need to get a community involvement and get their input and try to do a better explanation.
Yes, I think it should be left to the community. Let them decide, and more explained betterly. And if somehow that we can come out of that, have the city and the county do things together, and maybe we can get the hardship and everything also corrected at the same time. But I think it should be gone to the voters and get their decisions on it. And I think that would be a better answer. Thank you.
So I think, again, it starts with educating our neighbors and the constituents of that district or that area in specific, and tell them what the advantages and disadvantages are by annexing into the city. That if they're going to be able to receive sewer and water, or if they're going to be able to get our police and our sheriff to clear up the boundaries. Because right now with this keyhole, there's a lot of disconnect. When you pick up the telephone, you call 911, you don't know if some of these people don't know if a sheriff's supposed to get dispatched or a police officer. And so it would make it easier on our law enforcement officials to have that area taken over by the city, and it would allow resources for our sheriff's department to be able to go out and spend more time in the rural areas. But I think it's important to bring it before the people, and the most important thing is I would uphold the decision that the people made. Thank you.
I think that it needs to be annexed into the city. But I do think that it needs to have buy-in by the community, and I think the people have to support it in order for that to happen. I do not want that to become an island that's isolated and getting no services from the city. Right now, most of the area has city water. I guess there are a few homes that don't have city water still, but none of the keyhole area has city sewer. That's my bigger long-term concern. How do you maintain septics and leach fields in a development when lots are less than a quarter of an acre? Many of them are less than a quarter of an acre. Where's your replacement capacity? And that's a big concern I have. I think the city needs to sweeten the pot for those people and have a plan to, when if they go to annex it, to get those homes city sewer eventually. And then maybe not all in 1 year, but you do like one street this year and then 2 years later do another street until you get the whole thing done. That's what needs to happen there. But the city needs to have buy-in and they need to support it, and the community has to buy in. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to go to our closing statements of up to 2 minutes. You don't have to take the whole time if you don't need it. And we'll start with Sarb, Thiara.
I want to thank the Chamber, Bob, and I want to thank the Appeal Democrat for giving us this opportunity again, and the audience out there listening to us. Really appreciate that. And also I want to thank my family for giving me the time I asked for them, away from them, to be here with you guys and run for the seat. It's a hard job. And also I want to thank my team out there. It's a lot of hours due to this COVID-19. It's been pretty hard on everybody to go through this. You know, we have gone through this COVID-19. We were out there trying to serve food at the times when we needed it. These are the things that was needing done. Schools were not taken care of. The kids were not taken care of. They lost their graduations. All these things, I want to take my time and talk about them. I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about them, because these are the things that happened. And that's why I'm sitting here wholeheartedly to get elected by you to become your next supervisor. And I really appreciate your time, and I would like to have your vote to be elected on November 3rd. Thank you so much for your time.
Karm.
You know, I'd also like to thank the Appeal Democrat and the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce for hosting this forum this evening. I thank all the viewers. I think the biggest difference between the two candidates in the race is real leadership, and that's leadership experience. I am proud to be endorsed by nearly every past city mayor and city council member who served with my opposition during his time on the city council. These community leaders have seen me lead and have placed their trust and confidence in me to prepare Sutter County for the future. They know that I'm not a politician shopping for political office. I'm strictly a public servant who is willing to be the voice of the people. I want to serve the people. I want to make Sutter County better, stronger, and safer than it already is for our children, their children, and future generations to come. My heart's in the right place. I'm proud to be endorsed by Congressman Doug LaMalfa, John Garamendi, Senator Jim Nielsen, 7 of our construction trade associations, current supervisors Dan Flores and Jim Whitaker, Yuba City Mayor Sean Harris, retired Sutter County Sheriff Roy Whitaker, retired Sutter County Supervisor Larry Munger, Superintendent at Sutter Union High School Ryan Robinson, and countless others. I'm closing by a humble request. I'm just asking for your support. Please remember to vote, and most importantly, in District 4, vote for Karm Bains for Supervisor on November 3rd. Thank you.
Matt?
I'd like to thank the Chamber and the Appeal Democrat as well for you guys doing this. I think this is a great opportunity, some great questions, both from the public and from you guys. I'd like to thank my wife and 2 sons. My wife and I have been married for 30 years, and we have 2 boys, Matthew and Greg. Matthew farms with me. He's a 4th-generation farmer in Rioso. And I just think I'm truly humbled and for this job that I was given 4 years ago, and I want to keep accomplishing some of the goals. I want to keep working on the unfunded pension liability. I want to keep working on the lack of internal auditing, which we have one auditor to audit a $375 million a year budget. I just want to get there. And I'm endorsed by the Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau, the Republican Central Committee, the Gold Country Taxpayers Association, and the GSP. That's a different group, if you've ever heard of a different group of people endorsing one candidate. The GSP is the largest union organization in the county. I'm endorsed by former Sheriff Roy Whitaker, Dan Flores, Mike Ziegemeyer, Wally Herger, Nate Black, and Dick Aiken, just to name a few of the many of over 400 endorsements I have on my list. I just believe that my handshake is my bond, and I've always been fair to everybody, and I've always have an open door policy. I have the same phone number that I've had forever, 530-713-5764. That's on all my campaign literature. And I'm not a politician. I'm a farmer, and I own a patent even for a walnut rootstock. So anyway, with another friend, and I've just done a lot for our community, and I think I want to keep doing that. And I would appreciate your support in November 3rd for the election, and vote for Matt Conant. Thank you.
And Tej.
Thank you for providing this opportunity to get our voice out, our message out to the voters. Thank you, Appeal Democrat. Thank you, the Chamber. I'm not also running to be, I'm not a politician either. I guess we can all say that we're not politicians. I'm a small businessman. I'm a farmer. So I guess we can all get that out of the way. I am not running to develop my thousands of acres of land. I don't own thousands of acres to develop. I'm running because I want to serve the community, not to serve myself and develop my land. I'm not running to have sit on another board. If I don't have time to be on a board, I don't want to be on that board. I want to be on a board to serve. I'm retired. I have the time. I have the experience. I served on the city council. If that makes you a politician, then fine. But I am not running for the wrong reasons. I'm running for the right reason. I'm running to serve this community. This community has been great to me, and I'm endorsed by our first woman mayor, Mayor Cardacelli. I'm endorsed by our Assemblyman, Board of Supervisors, Dan Logue. We can all go over the list of endorsements, but that's not what it's about. What the bottom line is, do you care about your community? Are you going to provide service to your community? Or are you just going to have this another title that you own, that you never go to those meetings or even understand the issues? You're too busy farming 10, 15,000 acres. You don't have time to go to all the different committee meetings, time to serve the community. I have the experience, I have the time, I have the commitment. Honest, I will be the honest, ethical, I will provide ethical leadership with integrity. That's what we need. We need people that are willing to listen, not have a bunch of titles, not looking for to serve themselves. This community needs somebody that's going to serve the community, and that's me. So please remember to vote for me on November 3rd. Tej Mann, District 4. Thank you.
And gentlemen, we'd like to thank each one of you. This is where if we had an audience of 100 people, there'd be wild applause. So you can, we'll have the 4 people in the audience all applaud. Good job. For those of you who are watching live this evening, we'll be back in a few minutes with the Yuba City Council. And also this will be available until Election Day on several sites, including the Appeal Democrats Facebook page. So if you want to watch it again or you want to recommend it to somebody, we certainly hope you will. Again, thank you very much, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Between work and all my other daily duties, it's hard for me to get to the bank. That's why I do all my banking using Sierra Central Online Banking with the mobile banking app. I just snap a picture of any checks I need to deposit, or I pay my bills with their online bill payer service. It's so easy and convenient. I use my laptop, desktop, PC, or mobile device anytime from anywhere. That's how I live life, at the speed of me.
We work for sounds of pitter-patter. We sweat for moments of triumph. And we look forward to lunchroom chatter. We do it to help businesses prosper and communities thrive. It takes passion. It takes leadership and innovation. And it requires plenty of perseverance and teamwork. We are the catalyst for economic growth. We are the convener for leaders and influencers. We are the champion for a stronger Yuba-Sutter. We are the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce. Grow with us.
We can show you how. Live streaming can be simple and not expensive. You may already have the basic tools right in your hand. But it's more than just pushing live to communicate effectively. That's where Yuba-Sutter.LIVE and Live Streaming YS on Facebook can help you. Make it easy to jump in. Just give us a call at 530-301-2931 or visit our website, www.yuba-sutter.live. Yuba-Sutter's home of live streaming and live streaming tools, live streaming services, technology, and training. Live streaming is Yuba-Sutter.LIVE.